Hello dear students. I hope that all of you would be fine and healthy. After a long spell of coronavirus pandemic, we have heaved a sigh of relief. I am very happy to have you back to school. We have two kinds of presentations, one is to teach you through PowerPoint and another is through video. Today the topic of our lesson is verb and its types. We have to use PowerPoint and video along with a worksheet. The same would be the procedure as per previous practice. First is to learn and the is to write the taught material in notebook as directed by your English teacher. Let's start from the learning objectives. The learning objectives of today's lesson. At the end of the lesson the students should be able to 1. Define verb and all its types. 2. Identify these types in different sentences. Let's define verb. A verb is a word, which expresses the action done by the subject. For example, the milkman milked the cow. The boys fly kites in the sky. We are learning English grammar now. The man in the jeep aimed at the bird. Grandmother tells us interesting stories. The following are the main three types of verbs. 1. Action verbs. These verbs may be regular or irregular verbs. Other two types among these verbs may be transitive verbs or intransitive verbs. 2. Auxiliary verbs. These may be helping verbs or modal verbs. 3. Linking verbs. Other relevant kinds, such as infinitives, participles, gerunds etc. would be discussed in another video. The first one is action verb. Verbs which are used to express the action done by the subject are said to be action verbs. For example, Islam threw the ball. The ants fight fiercely. Action verbs are further divided into two types. 1. Transitive verbs. 2. Intransitive verbs. Now transitive verbs. A verb which requires an object after it is called a transitive verb. For example, he wrote a letter yesterday. Here the word wrote is a transitive verb because it has an object, a letter which receives the action done by the subject. The fisherman has caught a big fish. Caught is transitive verb and a big fish is an object. He raised his hand to ask a question. Raised is a transitive verb and his hand is an object, intransitive verbs. A verb which does not take an object after it is said to be an intransitive verb. For example, the sun rises in the east. Rises is an intransitive verb. Here the verb rises is intransitive verb because it does not have an object after it. The phrase in the east modifies the verb. The soldiers fought bravely. In this sentence, fought is an intransitive verb. Auxiliary verbs. Verbs which are used to help or support the main form of verb in a sentence are called auxiliary or helping verbs. For example, is, am, are, was, were, has, have, had, will, shall etc. The baby is crying for milk. In this sentence, is an auxiliary verb. He has scored a winning goal for his team today. In this sentence, has is an auxiliary verb. Modal verbs. Verbs which are used as helping verbs but express different moods like permission, ability, possibility, certainty, obligation, probability and purpose etc. These verbs are known as modal verbs. For example, can, could, may, might, should, dare, must, ought, need, etc. I can run fast. Here the word can is a modal verb because it expresses the ability to swim. Linking verbs. Verbs which link the subject with its description in a sentence are called linking verbs. For example, he seems happy today. Here the verb seems is a linking verb as it links the subject he with its description happy. This brand looks popular nowadays. This mango tastes sweet. This is the end of today's lesson. Now I will share with you a worksheet through WhatsApp and Google Classroom. Our next lesson will be about adverb and its types. Thank you very much. Goodbye.